Hey, School of Rock, the classroom leadership scene. This is kind of off the cuff, but I was thinking about old school versus new school in the way we learn to play the guitar. And the old school way was to go take guitar lessons from a guitar teacher and learn like that, or to get something like this chord chart, which was the value of this chart was just unbelievable when, learning to play the guitar. And things like the Big Fake Book. Now, I'll put a link to, I think it's Mel Bay's Big Fake Book, a version of his Big Fake Book, but it's a big, huge, thick book, and there are new versions every year that gave you basically the chords and the lyrics to all the popular songs of the day. And you'd go out and you'd buy that Big Fake Book, and you'd go home and you'd practice on the songs, and you'd sit in your bedroom and you'd look at the chord chart, or you'd look at the chord chart symbol in the book, and you'd learn to form those chords like a B7 or an F or a C major 7. Whatever it was, you had to take the time to sit there and figure it out for yourself. Now, of course, the first place that I learned was records, and dropping that needle on the vinyl over and over and over and over and over again, over and over and over again. Then came the cassette tape, and you could back it up and play it, and back it up and play it. You couldn't slow it down. You with the record, sometimes on a 33 we'd try to slow it down to 16, but that never really worked. It never really worked. You had to use your ear, and you had to figure it out for yourself. Then came the cassette. Then, of course, came CDs. And what this is the source material to the Blues Project band when they were learning new songs. And I really can't read this too well. Teach Me Tonight, Stormy Monday, Chain of Fools, Go Daddy-O, Mamba Swing, Zoot Suit Riot, Bless the Child, Hip to Be Square, The Walking Blues. Then the other side just said Source Blues Tape. But somebody would make like a mix CD to give you of the songs to learn, and you sat down and you learned them by ear. Now, this obviously was all before the internet. And your best chances at learning to play something was a teacher, a book, or just sitting down and figuring it out all by yourself. And there's really something to be said for that, because once you have figured something out that way, you keep it forever. One of the first finger picking things I ever learned and taught myself was "Ribbon of darkness over me since my love walked out the door. Tears I've never felt before. Ribbon of darkness over me." And that pattern, that'll stay with me forever. And nobody taught me that. I listened to the record, and I heard knew he was in C. just figured it out. That's something that'll stick with you forever and ever and ever. You'll never, ever lose that. Then, in the 90s, when we got the internet, we had a big revelation, and there was a site called Harmony Central that literally you could find the lyrics and a lot of times the chords to almost any song. Now, and the other, let me go back, let me backtrack a little bit. The other thing were things like Guitar Player Magazine. And Guitar Player Magazine was the first exposure I ever had to tabs. So when tabs came along, you no longer had to be able to read music. You could figure out how to read from tabs because it was a number system. So that was a big change. That was a huge change, and for a long time, everybody, it was tabs. It was tabs, and Guitar Player Magazine would have the tabs to all the classic rock songs and all the great tunes and all the stuff. Whatever that issue happened to be about, they would feature somebody. Sometimes they'd even throw in one of those CDs that came in a magazine. Then we got the internet. Now you're looking at New School. And New School is totally different because now you literally have anything you want or need right at your fingertips. It's right there. There's no hunting it down, searching it. You just type it in to Google and you get the chords to whatever you want. You get somebody to teach you how to play a solo. You can take theory lessons. Whatever you want is right at your fingertips. So the old school way of learning was good. Now the other part of old school learning was playing with other people. Okay? You had to go out and seek other people to play with, and that helped you develop. And you'd learn from them, they'd learn from you, you'd learn from other people. But today, people are learning from the internet. And I've got some links down there to a few YouTubers that I watch that do exactly that. They show you technique, they teach you solos, they teach you theory, they teach you anything that you desire to know about playing the guitar and playing music. And there's almost no excuse now for anybody not to be able to learn to play an instrument. All they need to have is the desire. And it's always been that way. All you ever needed was a desire to play. Whether it was just sit around and play campfire songs, or, you know, if it was shredding on the guitar or whatever it was, all you needed was the desire. That's all you need. That's all you ever needed. But these days, with the internet and YouTube and UltimateGuitar.com, Harmony Central, Cowpie.com for country music, there's no excuse, really, for not being able to learn to play an instrument, not just guitar. There's stuff out there for keyboard, there's stuff out there for drums, there's stuff out there for harmonica, bass, probably any instrument you want. And that's the new school. And the new school should make things move along a lot quicker. They should help you progress faster because you have easier access to it. But fact of the matter is, it all boils down to the individual and their desire to play. And if you have that desire to learn to play an instrument, getting over the physical aspect of it and the muscle memory and the pain that goes along with playing. You know, you sit down with an acoustic guitar and you play for a couple hours, you'll trash your fingertips if you're not used to playing. But you need to do that. That has to be done. That's part of it. You have to suffer through it before you get to that level. Nothing's instant. Even with today's technology, with the internet and everything else. I remember my friend Bobby, back in the early 90s, probably 94, 95, buying VHS tapes for, you know, $49.99, $69.99, ordering these tapes to learn how to play country music. And I'd watch these tapes with him and I'd go, Bobby, I already know all this stuff. I can show it to you. You know, but that was the access that he had that came on those tapes. And then the internet came along and just, you know, blew all that away. That stuff's all gone. I mean, that's antiquated. Hey, you should hold on to that stuff if you got it, because at some point it's going to become a piece of history. But with everything there is today available to people on the internet, there is no reason that if someone has the true desire and the motivation to learn to play the guitar or any instrument, that they can't do it. And I'm going to stick to my guns and say that concentrate on learning songs. Don't ignore theory, don't ignore scales, but don't concentrate on them. Concentrate on learning tunes, learning songs. If you want, whether it's you just want to solo and play, or you want to accompany your voice like I do, concentrate on learning songs. Because think about it. If you learned one song every day, and that's not out of the realm of possibilities, that can be done. You may not retain them, but you will have learned it, played it, and even though you might not fully remember it later because you haven't repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated it, and that's how you learn. You have to repeat over and over and over. But if you learned one song every day so that you could play it through and played it for a day or two, imagine the library you would build up in your head. And that's the other thing that I like to stress, is try not to depend on cheat sheets or lyric sheets. Learn the fucking words to the song. If you learn the words to the song, you're going to remember the arrangement. And that is key. And when you get to play with 3 or 4 or 5 other people, or even 2 people, whatever, you need to remember the arrangement. And I have played many, many times with guys that just could not get the arrangement together. They were never quite right there. They were always stumbling to the next part because they didn't learn the words. If they would have learned the words, the lyrics to the song, they would have known the arrangement. And I cringe when I see guys get up at an open mic, or when they're performing and they're performing solo and they got this big notebook full of songs and they thumb through it. Yeah, have a fucking song list. Maybe there's 1 or 2 new songs that you don't quite totally got down yet, and you want a little safety net to have something there. But to have this big, thick book that you're just thumbing through, and people are sitting waiting for you to decide what song you're going to play next, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. You've got to have it up here in memory. It's muscle memory, your brain, learn the words, learn the arrangement. And like I said, with everything there is, all the technology we have today, there's no reason that you can't play guitar. That's it.